A girl wakes up after a car accident in the first minutes of the zombie apocalypse.
Билли! Джейми!
Hi everyone, this is Jacobson and this is a recap of the first episode of The Walking Dead. As soon as this video gets 100 likes, I'm releasing the next installment. Enjoy watching. At the onset of the apocalypse, a single mother named Hannah wakes up in her vehicle, having slumped against the wheel and laying on the horn. Realizing that she's been involved in a car crash, she looks back only to discover that her children, Billy and Jamie, have fled the vehicle. Crawling out of the wreckage, she begins calling to them, only to realize that her neighborhood has become a disaster zone. Vehicles have been abandoned. A corpse is lying on the ground near her and no one will respond to her cries for help. As she begins to run through the neighborhood, she turns a corner and discovers a pair of walkers eating a corpse. Thinking that there's still people, she is shocked when one turns around and reveals its decaying face. Hannah freaks out and runs to a nearby house, with the single walker pursuing her. After attempting to crawl through the dog door, she is surprised when her ex-husband, Andrew, appears, leveling a shotgun at her before aiming upwards and killing the walker. Inside the house, which is revealed to belong to Andrew, Hannah is reunited with her children and reveals that her car crashed after she swerved to avoid some people, who she now realizes were the undead. She asks where Andrew's current wife, Judy, is, but he avoids the question and offers to bandage the head wound she sustained in the crash. As he dresses the wound, Andrew tells her that the zombie apocalypse is happening everywhere, and that his neighbor claimed that it was the work of terrorists. When Billy arrives to ask if he can play fetch the family dog, Andrew snaps at him and tells him to put the ball away because Max doesn't want to play. Billy sets the ball and glove he was in the living room and walks off, passing a carpet with a bloodstain on it that begins to stir. Several hours beforehand, Judy is walking back from a grocery store carrying a load of groceries when he realizes it's too quiet. She looks around and sees abandoned cars and no one around her, then pauses a vehicle to find a woman lying dead outside a stopped vehicle. As Lisa stops to check her pulse and administer CPR, the woman reanimates as a walker and chomps her on the mouth, causing her to get infected. At the same time, Andrew is rooting through his neighbor, Mike Wheeler's basement looking for guns when the latter appears and asks what he's doing. Andrew tells him he needs a gun to put down Max, who was attacked and slashed open by a walker. Mike mocks him for his previous holier-than-thou attitude towards him, then says they have bigger things to worry about. He shows off a wound on his leg, indicating that he was slashed by a walker. He claims that the CDC has indicated they are working on a cure, and that his wife and family died while they were celebrating his birthday earlier in the day. He then tells Andrew that while he shot and killed his wife, he didn't have it in him to kill his kids, and they have reanimated as walkers. Mike indicates that he wants Andrew to shoot him, along with his infected dog and the two kids, and save the rest of the ammunition for himself. Andrew reluctantly carries out Mike's final request, then goes back to his house and washes his bloody hands while struggling not to cry. Soon after, he hears banging at the door and heads out of his kitchen, holding the shotgun. He notices that the front door is ajar and a blood trail is running through the living room, only to be surprised when a walker appears behind him. He spins and fires, revealing Judy has already died and reanimated. Thinking he killed her, he breaks down and cries before covering her body with a carpet in the living room. Back in the present, Hannah laments the state of the world and tells Andrew she wishes she could go back to how things were before. In the dining room, Billy and Jamie are sitting at the kitchen table listening to a police siren in the distance and arguing about where Max is when the reanimated Judy stirs. Billy tries to scream, but Jamie covers his mouth and they hide under the kitchen table. As the undead Judy turns, the kids hide in the nearby kitchen pantry, but the walker notices and moves towards them, causing them to scream. Just when it seems like Judy will attack them, Hannah runs up with a fire axe in hand and hits Judy in the head with the weapon, putting her down for good. As Hannah consoles the kids, Andrew tells them they need to get out of the neighborhood, and suggests heading to Atlanta to find other survivors. Jamie says that there's a pickup truck outside the next-door neighbor's house that the group could use to escape, and Andrew says he knows where to get the keys for it. When he goes to the neighbor's house to get them, though, he is besieged and set upon by a group of walkers, who devour him. Sometime after, A military helicopter flies above the neighborhood and orders all surviving residents to get to an evacuation point, which will bring them to a refugee center in Atlanta. Sitting on the couch holding the kids, Hannah realizes it may be the only chance they have to escape, and tells them that they'll need to run if they want to make it. When Jamie asks where their dad is, Hannah avoids the question and grabs a handgun and supplies he left for her before they leave the house. Outside, Hannah and the kids exit the house and are surprised to find walkers all around the street. They begin running in fear as the walkers turn to face them and begin to pursue. As they run through the streets, Hannah notices a vehicle and stops to check it after she notices keys in the ignition. However, she is surprised by a walker sitting in the back seat and is bitten on the arm before she shoots it in the head with the handgun. Realizing that she may not make it, and after seeing walkers begin to close in on them, she hands Jamie the handgun and orders her and Billy to run to the evacuation point as fast as they can. After telling them she loves them, they flee as fast as they can, while the walkers close the distance and begin to devour Hannah, tearing open her stomach. Time passes, and the undead Hannah awakens, having been bisected. After some time taking in her surroundings, she begins to crawl away towards a nearby park.
Chill.